What's good with it? It's been a while since we did the prime time thing. Lucky Lefty podcast. I'm your boy Shaun Davis. The Onora boys are in the building. That dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. You see the title right down there at the bottom. Big or small steps. There's Notre Dame taking big steps or small steps under Marcus Freeman. We're also going to talk about that kind of Nick Saban would be a great. Nick Saban would be like Logan Roy, or he is Logan Roy or Tony Soprano in college football, bro. He is that dude.
Talk about it.
The dude that you love, like you see why people can like him, you respect him, but he's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
When he speaks without doing it maliciously. And he's done it once again in the Athletic, talking about NIL and talking about it's about to get worse. If you thought there was disparity in college football, it's about to get worse. And coming off of the class that he just signed, that had a lot to do with NIL, I see why he feels that way. Marcus Freeman ranked 30th left amongst head coaches in college football. After 1 year, well, we can talk about it. We can see where if he deserves to be a little bit higher. We'll get to some other things. How was your weekend, Left?
Great weekend. Got a chance to really take a step back, relax. Memorial weekend, saw the game 7. So,
Didn't I tell you? I told you last week, bro, before game 5. I told you there would be a 7th game on the holiday. Did I not?
Yeah.
I know the NBA, bro. It's all about money. Once the Lakers got swept, I was like, they cannot have 2 series in this early. It can't happen. It can't happen. Game 6 was actually that ending was bananas.
Yeah, I think that was the real game 7 that we could have hoped for as a fan, because the real game 7 after, it just seemed like Celtics came out flat. Like they really thought they probably stole a win in game 6, and it was
nothing. I mean, on the first series, your best player twist his ankle. Like
it was off the tip. It was off the tip, wasn't it? Something crazy.
No, it was like they went down and he was on the baseline and shot a little floater.
It was the first play after
yes.
the tip.
Yes.
They started.
And I'm like, yo, this is horrible. Like game 6 was like the best game.
Yes.
Because once Jason Tatum got hurt, it was anticlimactic. You already knew what was about to happen. And I think the finals are going to be the same way. Denver's about to give the business to the Heat. That's just the way I feel. They do. Bam is too small. Bam is too small, bro.
But Denver has 0 defense.
You're right, but Bam is too small. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Bam, look, man, people are finally gonna give this big dude respect. This dude, he controls left. He controls the entire game, bro.
I agree with you.
But and who's gonna stick Jamal Murray?
You're saying that Jimmy Butler can rotate on that if he needs.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Because they're gonna get killed on the boards if they do that.
On the boards, I don't think they're a rebounding team. They definitely don't have. They have offensive second chances for sure because of Jokic. But you're saying Bam's too small.
Listen to me,
backing down.
Jimmy. Would you agree that Jimmy might be their best rebounder?
Yeah.
If you have him out front chasing Jamal Murray, who's gonna rebound?
But they, as a team, crash the boards. That's what makes the Heat special. All of them guys crash the boards. All of them.
5 games.
5 games?
5 games.
You making it seem like Jokic is going to be backing down Bam and dunking on him. That's not even his game.
you do realize that
Not as
the 2 games they played this year, Joker had a triple-double against Bam.
yes, yeah. Joker, he's been averaging triple double all playoffs.
That's dude.
All
All I'm saying is I know what that big dude is gonna do.
Yeah, he's gonna give you triple. He's
See,
been averaging
Bam is gonna have 2 or 3 games where he disappears. He does it every series.
Yes,
he does it every series.
He also gonna give Joker trouble because he's gonna be putting them fouls on him too.
Oh, that's so. But he's only gonna do that 2 games. He's only gonna do that 2 games. Yeah, I got the Nuggets at 5. It might go 6 for business purposes because the NBA likes that sweet spot.
Little?
That sweet spot is 6 games usually for the finals.
Little?
But if they let it ride out, Denver, they'll handle Miami at 5. They'll handle them at 5. They beat them by 6. They beat them this year without Jamal Murray.
But you gotta think about it.
I think in Miami, it was in Miami they beat them without Jamal Murray.
And Miami lost to Atlanta in the play-in tournament. So what are we talking about?
That lets you know how much I think of Miami.
But at the same time,
and
Jokic averaging a triple-double damn every game, the Lakers series, every game was winnable.
Man.
Every game was winnable. Every single one. Every single game in that opportunity was winnable. So Jokic can have a triple-double, but the game's going to be close.
I don't care, dude. They beat, I think the combined total of, they outscored the Lakers by what, 13 points in that series?
Yeah.
It was a sweep, though. It don't matter.
He told me it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's 4 W's. That was 4 W's and 0 losses. I don't care how many points they won by.
That's okay. It's not going to be as clean as you think it's going to be. 5 games is disrespectful.
Yo, so one of the highlights of my holiday was turning to ESPN, I think, in the 3rd period, and Duke had just gone on a run after being down 6-1 at halftime in the men's lacrosse national championship game between Notre Dame and Duke. And Duke goes on this run, and then the next thing you know, Notre Dame gets the huge goal right before the 4th, reestablishes themselves, and then they come out in the 4th and just dominate defensively. Let me tell you something, bro. That's a physical game, bro. Lacrosse, I was like, wait a minute, you can body check a dude? I know one of Notre Dame's players tried to juke and came down the middle, and a Duke player caught him with a nice little forearm. I was like, oh, that's legal? We can do that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh. But, I think that for me, there was a moment where I think it was still kind of like a 2 or 3 goal game in the 4th. And there was a scrum that went on for about 30 to 40 seconds. And both teams were going crazy, slashing, scooping. And Notre Dame was able to come up with the ball in possession. Well, I don't know if it's called the ball. I'm sorry. They were able to gain possession and eventually get another goal. And that was pretty much lights out. But it was like the fight for that. Like Duke was, fighting for possession to get back in. It is absolutely amazing. And congratulations to the Fighting Irish from Notre Dame, Coach Corrigan, their leadership. You had players playing with pulled hamstrings. Man, the goalie, that dude was awesome. I see why he was the goalie of the year in conference. It was a very enjoyable. It had been 35 years for them as well. They went up to the link in Philly, came back, had the disappointment of not making the bracket the previous year and having a bracket in their locker rooms as motivation and just finishing things off, man. And it's funny because I didn't notice how this just shows you how the athletic community of Notre Dame is tied in, because there were so many football players on social media like Jerron Jones and Sean Crawford, Troy Pride, that were like, yo, either they had been there during a tough season where the team lost in the playoffs. I think they lost the national championship to Duke in 2010. Some players that were around during that time spoke about it. It was absolutely amazing to see that athletic community from Notre Dame come together and support. And of course, Marcus Freeman was there, in the link. Great, great time. Great way to spend an hour of my Memorial Day.
That's right.
Now, I want to clean something up because, after the show, I'm going through the comments from Friday, and some people had a misunderstanding about, some people felt like that well, not even you, they included me in this, that somehow we disrespected Memorial Day. And I was like, context. Our conversation about Memorial Day was about holidays and food and cooking. Left was clear that Memorial Day is not one of the big days that he gets up to grill. Like it's just not one of those days. Because that was my question. That was my question to Left. Like, yo, are you going to grill? How much you gonna eat? And you were like, nah, this is one of those holidays. I just don't really get into it. I don't, it's not a big deal. Had nothing to do with the purpose of Memorial Day. It wasn't a disrespect of Memorial Day. We both understand what Memorial Day is. Dude, I'm just trying to clarify because people were going off. They were going, man, when I tell you people went left, literally misunderstanding the conversation we were having, bro. It was like, what are you talking about? But neither here nor there. That's clarified. Notre Dame gets ready to embark on the month of June. What's in the month of June? You have Junior Day, Irish Invasion. You also have recruiting weekends. If you missed Friday's show, first of all, congratulations to Ryan Roberts and his beautiful wife on their second child that came into this world over the weekend. And I believe they're back home, and speaking with him a little bit earlier or seeing his post. And that's a great thing. Everyone seems to be healthy, and that's good. But I will tell you this: Notre Dame received some very good information. It seems as if Notre Dame, but this right here, it is very apparent. Let me throw this out there, bro. So remember the update I gave on Justice Scott last week?
Yeah.
Okay. So I gave the update on Justice Scott, and I was talking about everything that Miami's doing and how they're worried about the distance thing, and they know that's a huge hurdle for Justice Scott. And the lengths they're going to have former Miami players that are from Chicago to reach out, talk to them about how great it is, how you grow up and things of that nature. So I happened to be talking to one of those guys over the holiday, one of the former players for the Hurricanes. And he says, and I quote, "I don't know, dude. I like him, and I know we're doing everything we can to get him, but he just seems like a Notre Dame type of guy." This is just our conversation. He's just sharing me the conversations. Like, man, I told him, like, no matter what you choose, here's my number. I'm here for you always as you go through your career, da da da. And he was like, man, just talking to him, he just comes across as a Notre Dame type of guy. He was like, I want him to go, but he just comes across as a Notre Dame type of guy. And that's coming from a Miami dude. But that Miami dude at one point was also committed to Notre Dame. So, so he has an inkling of what both sides kind of vibe off of and what that means. So let me tell you something, man. When everyone was panicking, like, oh my God, Justice Scott isn't visiting. He doesn't have a visit for Notre Dame. None of this and that. And I'm like, dude, he's 70 miles away, man. There is no plane tickets, there is no planning involved. He literally can wake up and say, yo, I'm going to Notre Dame. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But usually the thing that's good about Notre Dame guys is guys that seem like a Notre Dame guy usually are. There's not too many guys that are recruited
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame that you're like, I wouldn't guess Notre Dame recruited you. It's just not too many guys like that. So usually Notre Dame does a good job of they're giving you an offer. You're usually fitting into that Notre Dame type of guy that's more than a football player. So uh,
Mm.
it's an essence about you, and I think especially if he likes Notre Dame, that attraction is there. It's it's hard to see the other fluff around recruiting when you
Mm-hmm.
are identified as a Notre Dame guy, and you buy into the perspective that you're a Notre Dame guy. So there's certain things that you hold close to you that are valued to you in terms of your recruitment and different things you're looking for in school. And so the things of it being the money like NIL or we give you the biggest and baddest whatever while you come here or to get to come here, it's not the same effect. You got guys like Torrey Hunter Jr. who could have went and played baseball somewhere,
Mm.
who had other opportunities to play to where he wanted for college football. He decided to come to Notre Dame and play football. It just shows you that, if you come to Notre Dame, that means you, in a lot of respects, are a Notre Dame guy, and the things that typical top players would want, they're important to you too, but they're not the things that are making your decision for you either.
You know what's funny, Left? Take the big time. This goes to the big or small steps. That's the question of the day. Do you think Notre Dame over the last year has taken big steps or small steps to winning a national championship? LL question of the day. The Justice Scott thing is what, like, look, not getting him out of Chicago would be a huge, just wouldn't be good, right? They have a lot of kids coming in June that they need to be locking in on. I don't think this June would be the domino effect that June 2022 was, in my opinion. We just learned, I believe, just an hour or so ago, Caleb Beasley, the number one defensive back in the class, Mike Mickens. Let me tell you something. This dude, Mike Mickens, bro. Hey, man. We might not see Mike Mickens at Notre Dame in another year or so with the job he's doing,
Yeah,
right?
Mike Mickens, man, I'm telling you,
That cat Mike Mickens is,
not
yo,
around.
he is not playing around. Caleb Beasley has locked in a visit, according to reports, for September the 22nd. You know what weekend that is.
That's right.
You know what weekend that is, baby. That's prime time. That's the bright lights. September 22nd through the 24th. And the rumor is that he has connected his recruitment to the same weekend that Justin Scott plans to visit Notre Dame. So,
Look at that.
look, man, it is very similar. I think Brian Driscoll said this, but Christian Gray was my kid, my focus. He was in my region last year, and every time I talk to Christian Gray, I would tell everybody like, "Yo, he's a Notre Dame. I think he's going to Notre Dame." And even when people felt like LSU and Ohio State had taken the lead, I was steadfast. I'm like, nah. That's why you take the chance to get to. That's why you take the time to get to know these kids. Like, get to know them, find out what makes them tick, learn their personalities, so you can sift through the same responses that they give to everybody else for the same questions. So you can feel the vibe. And you can tell when he talked Notre Dame was special because of Notre Dame's connection to his grandfather. And it was like every time I talked to him, that came up somehow, some way. So even when you heard reports about Ohio State, LSU, it was just like, okay, Notre Dame was locked in with this kid. He's locked in with them. So Justin Scott is the same way. Someone just asked Brian Driscoll on his show Friday, what is it that Shaun feels different? Why does Shaun feel different about Justin Scott than you do? Because I've looked him in his face. Nobody else has looked him in his face and talked to him. I've looked a young man in his face multiple times, and he shared information with me that he didn't have to share, that I didn't ask. He went above and beyond to give clarity to situations. So when someone opens up and is that honest about things, you tend to believe what you hear from them, and you tend to believe and know who they are at heart. So when I hear that Miami is really worried about him wanting to stay home and that being a big issue, yo, how long have I been saying proximity is going to be huge? How long have I been saying it's going to be really hard to get him out of the Midwest, regardless of what school he chose? So I just believe the kid. That's it. I believe the kid. And some people felt like they tried to connect it to the Carnell Tate thing last year left, which was funny to me because Carnell Tate did 2 interviews with us. And not once did we say, oh, Carnell Tate's coming to Notre Dame. I wrote an article after his visit in April, the visit where his mother wanted no part of Notre Dame because of Brian Kelly. That's documented. He begged her to take the official visit.
Yeah, because he said, I'm trying to win over my mom.
I'm trying to win over my mom, right? And they left. Everything went great. Notre Dame was back in the picture because they were out of the picture. They got back in the picture. He was the one that asked for the official visit. And the next thing you know, something happens on the phone call. His mother gets irritated, and that's the end of that. Everybody was hitting me like, what happened? No. He said this, he said that. He's welcome to change his mind, as well as his parents. All I can tell you is what he said about the visit.
Facts.
That's recruiting, man. You take people at their word. There were a bunch of people that took Peyton Bowen at dude, except for Ryan Roberts. I will give Ryan Roberts credit. 2 months before, it was October, Ryan Roberts said, I don't believe a word coming out of this kid's mouth. This is 2 months before signing day. So that's what I'm saying. This is why you have conversations with these kids, because eventually they're going to show or expose themselves, or you're going to come to believe and know who they are and know what they're telling you. And that's it, man. That's absolutely it. So to hear that Caleb Beasley is the same way, right?
Yeah.
We're hearing this. Caleb Beasley has been flirting with Notre Dame. I think he locked in with Tennessee because that was the vibe. He's a Tennessee kid. Tennessee had a great season. They're vibing. They got Nico and Believer. It's a lot of things going their way. It's a local thing. He hopped on it with some of his boys. Like, yeah, I'm committed. I mean, he committed the weekend of the Alabama win, Left. You know that's all about momentum, bro.
Yeah.
And Marcus Freeman and Mike Mickens stayed on him. Why? Because going back to the Irish invasion, which he was at Notre Dame for the Irish invasion last year, they believe he's a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
And they stayed on him. And every time Marcus Freeman shows up at his high school, whether it's for a basketball game or something else, that kid is giddy. He is giddy. Like, oh man, Marcus Freeman showed up for my game. He's tweeting it out. Like, oh, that's why I asked the question. Like, is Notre Dame making big or small steps? Because I can't tell you the last time that Notre Dame was going after big fish trying to flip them.
Yeah.
From another school. Like, if you guys know somebody in the chat, let us know. I can't think of the last time Left that we went after somebody that was committed to another big time program. But that's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's huge.
pretty excited that we find one of those quote unquote rare recruits that are at the 5-star quality or talent or ability,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sold on what Notre Dame is selling. Usually the group of 5 stars that we're recruiting, the top of the top, are guys that are persuaded by things that aren't Notre Dame good stewardship qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And for a guy to, buy into that, being that he has all the attention he does from the schools that are pushing other things, this is the success of having and doing it the way we do it, is that if we get a guy that's like that, of that stature, of that rank, of that eliteness, he's coming to Notre Dame if he's a Notre Dame guy. If you a guy that's offered by Notre Dame and all the fancies, lights and glitters are a part of what is pushing your decision, that's how we lose most of them. Outside of not being recruitable, quote unquote recruitable. But when you find that silver lining of that elite 5-star that is bought into what you are pushing out there from a good stewardship, no NIL, 4 for 40, this is going to impact you when you got gray hairs and maybe not in the immediate future, we're going to get them. But it's just not enough of them every year to make it the team that we feel like we should have every year on a recruitment level. So out of 25 stars, out of the 20, there might be 2 Notre Dame guys in the whole group, maybe. And out of those 2, only one is confident to give Notre Dame a serious look because he got every other big school from Alabama to Georgia, LSU, Ohio State talking about why are they even in your top 10? And most 5 stars fall for it because they're only looking for the top 3. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. If you one of the top 25 stars. Now you're a top 25 star. You might get 1 out of the 20 that's a Notre Dame guy, but we're going to get him without question. Now we just got to find a way to make it 2 5 stars or 3 5 stars or 4 5 stars that are bought in on the same level as Justin Scott with all the fanfare included. That's asking for a lot, but him being from Chicago, that's a big step up. That's a big help because he's a 5-star kid in the Midwest where we're proximity a lot closer than if he was in Huntsville, Alabama. So we got the rareness of a elite 5-star generational player that's proximity close. This ain't Keon. Keon right down the street from all that influence. Right down the street. Grew up with it. He probably never watched a Notre Dame game until high school, maybe. But Justin Scott, on the other hand, grew up Notre Dame, so it's already implanted. That Notre Dame green swarm has infected his blood early on.
He goes to the Notre Dame of Catholic high schools, bro.
Oh yeah, so you go, yeah. So
on the west side, dude, man. Let me tell you something.
Too much.
This school is St. Ignatius, bruh. This school is immaculate, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So you drinking the juice to the point where Notre Dame ain't got to do too much recruiting. It becomes a dream come true at that point. You drinking the juice in high school. You done drink the Kool-Aid growing up, watching the green and blue. So this is a way easier slam dunk than a Keon Keeley, who you had to tell Notre Dame was in South Bend, Indiana when you first recruited him. That's a hard sell. If he asking where South Bend is and on your first visit down to IMG, you fighting uphill.
Facts.
When you throw out Athens, he's like, oh, that's Georgia.
Facts.
You throw out Columbus, oh, that's Ohio State. South Bend, where's that? So how are you going to be interested in the school and not be in your final three when you don't even know where South Bend, Indiana is? Justin Scott, on the other hand, he's like, oh, South Bend, that's right. It's like 80 miles from where I'm standing.
Mm-hmm.
I can visualize that. How Keon go visualize walking in the snow for 9 months out of the year? How Keon gonna visualize that? And he didn't even know it snowed in South Bend, Indiana, because he didn't even know it was in. He didn't even know Notre Dame was in South Bend. Let alone that the wind chill and the snow. He didn't know none of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless we are at that championship tier, you're gonna have to have some guys that know a little bit about the school beforehand. And unfortunately, a lot of these 5-star guys don't have a great depth of knowledge on the attractiveness of Notre Dame. Hell, they don't even know where it's at. I remember Mike Harmon, a great tight end,
Tight end
didn't know what Notre Dame was, even though he committed, but it was like, oh, this is what it is. There
are a lot of people. No, there are a lot of people that are aware of Notre Dame, the brand, who they are, and have no clue that it's in Indiana. No clue. You're right.
It's like you gotta.
I've spoken to people in Chicago.
No clue.
That know about Notre Dame, know the brand, had no clue it was 70 miles away.
They think you gotta knock on the closet door and jump in like Narnia or something. You in a whole nother area.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
For a school like Notre Dame, for people to have such mystery behind even the basic stuff about it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a good thing, from an attraction standpoint. Ooh, that sounds like going to Harry Potter land or something.
Yeah.
Hogwarts. Instead of it being like, oh, yeah, that's the place that I grew up watching on TV. I got the jersey on. They was always around and can't wait to go. I used to go up there. My dad used to take me, whatever. There's not a lot of stories like that. So
yeah.
I think because Notre Dame is so elitist as a school outside of a football program, that even regular students are like, damn, that's Notre Dame.
Facts.
They're like, oh, I don't have no shot of going there.
I talked to a kid. Well, I talked to the parents of a kid this weekend that, look, right now as we sit left, I think I have 3 kids at my dad's church that are like D1 prospects playing big time high school football in Chicago. And I talked to one of the parents of one of those kids this weekend after service, and I was just like, yo, like, you don't understand how much of a business the game has evolved into. But you're about to learn. You're surely about to learn. And they didn't realize that even though their son wasn't being recruited by Notre Dame, he was receiving mail from Notre Dame for academics. And Notre Dame was one of the schools they were considering because they were like, yo, it's Notre Dame. It doesn't matter if he's being recruited for football.
Yeah. We need more
Notre Dame.
like that.
It's Notre Dame. Now, more than likely, he's going to end up going to a D1 school, but Notre Dame is one of the schools we're considering because, hey, it's Notre Dame, and they're interested in him because of his academics. And it is what it is. The brand is absolutely amazing. Everybody knows about the name and the brand. But there are a lot of people that, if you ask them where Notre Dame was, they would be like, I don't know. I have no clue where Notre
And that's
Dame
and
is.
that's the big. But the irony of Notre Dame is that the brand is internationally respected, yet the
Yeah,
location of the school is so widely a mystery to a lot of people. Where they know the logo,
yeah.
but you say, "How do you find the logo?" Pointed out on the map, they have no clue.
The interlocking ND.
So it's going to be interesting to see um, how they can make that logo significant and valuable to kids that are out of high school
Mm,
on a football level. Yeah, you have the elite academic heads that strive and grow up in that. Even the ones that are super smart and 80% of the kids that go to Notre Dame grew up Notre Dame fans. That's the
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
It's not too many kids that you'll walk around on campus that you're like, man, I just worked hard in school and this was one of my top choices because I was striving for top schools. It's like, no, no, no. I grew up a Notre Dame fan. My family went here. I grew up liking the football games, the basketball games, or all my family history went here, so I went here.
yeah,
Oh, the Notre Dame's the Catholic school is like a feeder school to Notre Dame. So it's really a route
yeah.
more so than it is a destination for the top of the top.
Uh-huh.
Notre Dame is definitely a route, whether it's you go to the Catholic school system your whole life, and then that's when Notre Dame starts becoming the public schools you hear about in regular schools. Notre Dame, to Catholic school programs and organizations and districts out there in the country,
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame is the Alabama of schools.
Yeah,
That's the Alabama. That's the number one in the country. If you had a Catholic school, is Notre Dame.
yeah,
And a
yeah.
public school, Notre Dame is like number 35 and non-available because they don't even know what it is. Or if you're a regular student that goes to Notre Dame, your family don't went there. The if you were an international student, Notre Dame done flew over to your country and set up a booth.
Yeah,
If you in Africa or something, they was on the corner or something, and they was like, "Oh, we do school over here."
yeah,
Other than that, Notre Dame ain't in your local libraries and local, school systems of this is where you want to be. So maybe it's a branding marketing strategy Notre Dame does where they don't show up in the general places that people would tend to find them and be fans of. Is usually when you catch a Notre Dame, they playing against your favorite team. They not in the conference. Who are these people? You know. So it definitely makes Notre Dame a love it or hate it type of place. Interestingly enough. The
yeah.
people that know about it love it. If you don't know about it, they just irritate you. And you don't know why. Half of it because you can't get in, half of it because you don't know where it's at, half
Right.
because he's like, why are they good? How are they good? Half of it is that they don't follow like everybody else follows. But if you grew up a Notre Dame fan, it's the greatest thing in the world. You can't wait to go, and you crushed if you can't get in.
Man.
The end of the world. So football and the football recruiting and the interesting dynamic of that is that these kids don't care about that. These kids don't care that you got to be a valedictorian and you still might not get in, and you got to have a certain amount of community service hours and be active in your community and be in different clubs and stuff to even get reviewed by Notre Dame to get in as a regular student. Them football players them 5 stars don't care nothing about that. So the non-respect or the unknown disrespect for the process Notre Dame goes about recruiting isn't valued to the 5 stars like how it's valued to the kids that know about Notre Dame or the kids that want to go to Notre Dame, or the Justin Scotts that been around it or has been around him. So it's just it's a real interesting dynamic. I don't think Notre Dame is ever going to lose uh, that method of how they go about gaining a student. So it definitely puts a bigger strain on the football program how do you stay within those lines?
Well, you have to make the effort, Left. You have to make the effort. You have to have a coach that's willing to make the effort, that's willing to sit down at the table with the top programs and fight for the best talent and go and get the kids that are the top talented kids that do fit what you want at Notre Dame, like a Caleb Beasley, like a Justice Scott, right? It is, we're going to talk about Bronte Johnson. And some kids don't get it. Some kids mature. From what we heard on the message board, he got it. He realized that his opportunity to go to a Notre Dame or a big time college was being hindered because he was being lazy in the classroom. And he realized, I can do this. I can commit to the classroom and I can be successful. And hopefully he continues that because it's not just about this last semester, it's about his last year of high school as well. But now he has an official visit set up June 4th through 6th, and Left is going to break his film down as to why he would be a great addition to the 2024 class. So, absolutely, man, the brand of Notre Dame is just as strong as ever. That's always a big step in the right direction. And small steps like Jack Swarbrick kind of switching, national championship from being fourth on the list of priority to number one would be a great help. But we'll see how that goes. Lucky Lefty podcast. Doma Wap, thank you for the super chat. I am so distinctively impressed how you are both so ably to multitask. You read, respond to the chat. Truly brilliant, truly impressive. Well done. Doma Wap, we appreciate you as always. And then this goes back to what we led off the show with Frank Rochelle. Thank you for joining us, Frank. These two are entertaining, but Memorial Day explanation, like these two say, keep it real or false. God bless America and God bless the fallen soldiers. As we started the show off with, Frank, maybe you were offended. And if you were offended, we're sorry for the miscommunication. Our conversation about Memorial Day on Friday had zero to do about the holiday. I asked Left, was he going to grill on Memorial Day? I said, are you going to do a lot of cooking on Memorial Day? His answer was no. I just never seen the big deal about Memorial Day. As far as cooking, had nothing to do with the holiday. We're talking cooking. He's saying it's one of those holidays that he doesn't get up to do a lot of cooking, period. A lot of people went left with it, trying to say we were being disrespectful to the holiday. You can go watch the whole week leading up to Memorial Day the previous year and watch me give a heartfelt speech due to the fact that my grandfather and his twin, my uncle, both served in the military. So stop. Just stop. Try to make a molehill into a mountain. If it was a misunderstanding, fine. But trying to make it seem like we could care less about Memorial Day or soldiers, that's something I'm not going to stand for. Out of my own personal experience and out of things that I've expressed multiple times on this platform and other platforms that I'm connected to. So, all right, we come back and Left returns. We're going to talk Bronte Johnson, break his film down, and then Nick Saban takes a shot at Notre Dame. What? Lucky Left podcast. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Lucky Lefty podcast. Everyone in the chat, yes, we already gave love to the lacrosse team. Shout out to them, Coach Corrigan, and the entire team, 35 years. Left was just talking about legacy in Notre Dame. Salute to the Kavanaughs. Their legacy being cemented started with their older brother, Matt Kavanaugh, playing at Notre Dame and being disappointed with leaving without a championship, and just the love that the players, former and present, have for Coach Corrigan. That's that was kind of like Dean Smith finally winning that championship, right? You remember in '82 when Dean Smith finally won that championship, and it was almost like he was going up against Georgetown, a young up and coming team. You weren't sure if they were good enough. Everybody was super excited that he won. And it's just like, I feel that's the same. Like everyone in lacrosse landscape and college lacrosse is very happy that Coach Corrigan got his championship. I think the young man, if I'm not mistaken, he has the most wins at a school in college lacrosse history. That is, and I mean, the lacrosse team wasn't even fully funded when he started, didn't have enough scholarships, built up the program, built it up to a point where they're a national contender, multiple disappointments in the tournament, championship games, and to have this team and this magical season, I think that point differential, they talked about during like the match yesterday. They just came out this year and just bludgeoned teams, just flat out bludgeoned teams for not getting invited to be in the bracket last year. So they were a team on a mission. I think they were challenged by Maryland in overtime. They were challenged in the semifinals by Virginia. That was an amazing comeback to win in overtime. And then, look, jumping out to a 6-1 lead, giving them, or Duke coming back. Duke was the number one team in the nation. I mean, it's a good team. They make a strong comeback. They try to break Notre Dame. Notre Dame says no. They reset themselves, and they play a fabulous fourth quarter and just pull away from Duke. And it was exciting to watch. So once again, congratulations to Notre Dame's men's lacrosse, Coach Corrigan, every player, the Kavanaughs, and what they meant to the lacrosse team, the brothers. It was just absolutely fantastic. And just seeing the close knitness of the athletic community on social media during that match with football players, baseball players, everybody. It's amazing. I'm not sure. Last I heard, Notre Dame baseball was waiting to hear if they were getting invited. I know that I actually watched the Wake Forest game. They jumped out early, and Wake Forest came back, unfortunately, in the ACC tournament. Notre Dame really needed that to kind of assure themselves of a spot in the tournament, and they came up a little bit short. So I don't know when the brackets come out. I know they announced the regions, but I have not seen the announcement of the brackets. I might be behind. Yeah, that would be great if Notre Dame football could follow suit. That would be great if they could follow suit and give another natty. So I want to talk about something. Nick Saban was asked about NIL recently. Matter of fact, earlier today. And he said, I made the statement. This is from an article in The Athletic. I made this statement years ago and got very criticized for it. Is this what we want college football to become? Once again, this is Alabama head coach Nick Saban. So now it's kind of becoming that, Saban said. I don't think it's going to be a level playing field because some people are showing a willingness to spend more than others. Without talking about Notre Dame, Nick Saban found a way to talk about Notre Dame. It is an unlevel playing field. And it's only unlevel because of the word that he uses in that last sentence. Some people are showing a willingness to spend more than others. Alabama, Georgia, Clemson to a degree because they're having revenue issues with their TV contract and other expenses. But there are some schools that are willing to go ahead and do what they have to do from an NIL standpoint to win. When Nick Saban says some people are showing a willingness to spend more than others, he's talking about Notre Dame. He knows exactly who he's talking about. He's not talking about Memphis.
Tulane,
Nick, he's not talking about Tulane.
Cincinnati.
Exactly. He's not talking about Cincinnati. Nick Saban knows exactly. It's like 2 or 3 schools that he's talking about.
Because it's a thorn in his side, you know. It's a thorn because he would love the luxury of not having to stress his alumni out for more money, ask for more donations when he's St. Nick. How's St. Nick getting presents, not giving presents? We the real St. Nick. We the one that is bringing joy with good stewardship to college football and got people mad about it. So it's like we're not giving up the Krabby Patty formula if we're Notre Dame on this whole process through the NIL. Personally, I think Notre Dame is playing a long game, banking on the fact that these rules are going to modify this NIL to where teams are going to have to adjust like us. I think NIL is going to turn into an employee situation, worst case scenario where people are contracted as employees to the school, which is advantageous in the Notre Dame system as it is right now.
Yeah.
Because your scholarship is a year-to-year basis.
Let them know, Left. It's not 4 years, brother.
You sign that thing every year. Okay, you granted another year at Notre Dame. So if that's the case, I think Notre Dame is playing the long game where we know where college football is heading in the grand scheme of things, and we're just having a system and process built geared for that. And it's going to stand the test of time through the wild, wild west of how NIL is today. Something Saban's going to have to get adjusted to. Kirby Smart's going to have to get adjusted to. Because right now, how the rules are structured is just kind of crazy.
And Alabama and Georgia are taking full advantage of it.
All the transfer rules are at the same time as recruiting, at the same time as visits, at the same time. Everything is happening at the same time to where it's too crazy. There's no real way to build a team right now. And I think Notre Dame sees this as a testing process, not a lasting process. So all this stuff happening now, Notre Dame's like, look, by 2024, all this is going to be cut out, and y'all going to have to look for ways to get it done like we're getting it done. We already not giving up no bread, and we getting recruiting classes because we went through the back way. We got the good, shiny head coach. It's a good attraction piece, non-NIL. We got the nice, shiny stadium, good attraction piece, no NIL.
Yeah.
We're going to stay competitive on that schedule, stay independent, stay getting in the apparel deals, all not NIL, by the way. We buffering up the other areas that I think in the long run is going to pay off for us, and teams are going to have to adjust to what we're doing once these NIL rules start coming down.
Bro, and this is this is a perfect question right here. Thank you for staying up late with us, Tim B. Besides Bama and Georgia, who is really succeeding from all this funny money? Georgia and Bama will get top classes either way. Texas A&M stinks, so TCU. It's not the fact that it's making Bama and Georgia even stronger. That's the point. And that's what Nick Saban is telling you. Remember, look, this goes back, the article points this out. And they're like, when Nick Saban says something about college football, be warned. 2012, after winning the national championship, Nick Saban said, this spread offense, throw the ball 50, 60 times, is this really where we want college football to go? That's what he said. Of course, he had just won a national championship with I formation, staunch defense. So he's like, yo, y'all spreading everything. Y'all throwing the ball 40, 50 times, like running 90 plays. Is this where you really want college football to go? And people were like, oh, he's just complaining. He's whining. And he was like, okay, watch me go get all the quarterbacks and receivers then. He was warning you. Like, if that's the way you want to take it, you can take it that way. But watch what I do. Like, go ahead. Do what you want to do.
How does he recruit a Devontae Smith in Alabama at that time? What did he tell him?
Bro.
How did he recruit a Heisman level receiver when they were coming out of the I formation? They didn't have a quarterback there at the time Devontae Smith came into school. They didn't have a gunslinger, a guy throwing it 40, 50 times a game. So Nick Saban is getting it done in no matter what the circumstances or the weather is. How is he getting a Jerry Jeudy and a Devontae and a Waddle and these are consecutive guys. Now they ain't tight end you now. I ain't seen too many tight ends. You get your O.J. Howard. What else? What are tight ends that Alabama working with? Okay, that's another question. But from the positions you need the most to win, Nick Saban gets it done no matter what styles of offenses are going on at the time. I think that's a key trait that he has, and he also controls the narrative of a lot of these things too, because he's the dog on top. Everything trickles down from the effects of what he does in college football. He puts it out there, or puts guys on notice on what's coming next, essentially.
Bro, it is. Like, you want to know what NIL is doing? Go look at the recruiting weekend list, the list of players for this weekend that are visiting Athens. There is no way all of those 5-star players should be visiting on one weekend. You got Justin Scott, Dominic Raiola, Jeremiah Smith, DeMello Jones. It's like 10 5-star kids going to Athens this weekend. It's bananas. It's crazy. So those are the type of recruiting weekends that are made possible with NIL. Of course, they won the back-to-back championships. And Nick Saban, that's why I said Nick Saban is like Logan Roy. Like Logan Roy season 1, episode 9. Was like, yo, when I tell you that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And that's Nick Saban. When Nick Saban sends out a warning, he's letting you know, I'm about to go dominate. If this is the way you want it to go, okay. I'm about to go dominate that way. And Notre Dame, look, maybe they know something. Maybe this whole NIL marketplace collapses in a few years. Maybe new legislation comes on board that kind of makes it more uniform for everyone. But at this point,
I mean, hey, it's keeping up with the Joneses at this point. So our way of keeping up with the Joneses is being able to use Marcus Freeman in a similar way that Alabama uses Nick Saban, from a daunting influence, except with the resources that we don't have. So that's making chicken S word in the chicken salad. But darn it, he's the man for the job, because he knows he's not going to be there long if he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like living with the Jetsons. So the Jetsons and the Flintstones were around at the same time. Did you know that?
As far as you talking about when they were both on TV, yeah, I watched them every day.
No, but like the timeline of it, like the actual time of the Jetsons.
One was just out of space, and one was.
But it was going on at the same time.
Yeah.
That's kind of Notre Dame and Alabama right now. We're like the Flintstones.
Ooh, that's good, Left.
Where we need
That's
to be
okay.
able to update our technology. Yeah, we got some good stuff down here, good foundation. But up there in the sky, they doing things a little updated. And it's taking them to new levels. They got flying cars. They living in the clouds. We still messing with the wheel. We still got the wheel on our mind. And it's good. The wheel's good, but it ain't working for us.
Lucky Lefty podcast. And leave it up to Left to use the Flintstones and the Jetsons to break down Notre Dame and Alabama.
We still on the wheel, and the fire is still amazing to us. And it works. It cooks the food. It gets things going. But when it comes to the Jets, they a little bit ahead at the time.
Hey, low key, don't laugh at me because I was a shorty. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. Barney's wife was bad, dude. Betty had it going on, bro. I didn't like Wilma. Wilma was kind of mean. Betty had it going on though.
Yeah, Betty had the blue on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Betty was,
yeah. Betty had it going on the Flintstones. She had it going on, bro.
Right. That's right. Down to earth.
Very much down to earth. Lucky Lefty podcast. Marvin Bell said Betty was thick.
Yeah.
See, that's through the eyes. That's through the eyes of like an 8-9-year-old, bro. Like Betty was all right. Like, okay. Like, okay, I see you, Barney. I see you, boy. I see you.
That's something else, man.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Oh man, the Flintstones was definitely the better show.
It was. See, like we're the better program if you take.
There you go. That was that oop for you, Left.
That's right.
I threw that oop for you.
Yeah, we think the Jetsons is real nice. Very very futuristic. A lot of bells and whistles. But when you want that foundation, that foundational football program that's been around for a minute, that's hold on to some traditions we might have to let go in the next 100 years.
Yeah.
But for the first 100, it's been working to a point.
Yeah.
It's similar to the Cowboys. The Cowboys brand is untouchable. But the team, very touchable. Very touched. We can bring the team to the brand level.
Oh man.
Dallas Cowboy, man.
It's over.
Like another
it's
football.
over. It's
Just
over.
like Notre Dame. If you let us
over.
start ripping off championships every 2 or 3 years and we just always in the paper, there won't be any other team to like in college football, period.
No, you're right. You're
so
right.
Maybe it's a good thing we haven't start kicking butt like Alabama and running our dynasty. Because we would take all the college football fans. Think about it. You got 4 for 40. You got your own TV network. Prime time Saturday games. We got the resources, the alumni base. Kids from all over the country. We not just a area focused team. We like the world. So it's going to be interesting to see how we develop in these crucial transition years to cross over to a championship tier, because it can only go one or two ways. We've been teetering on the cliff of greatness for a long time. But at some point, the stock's going to drop. All stocks drop. But this is the tipping point. Because the juice is almost run out. It's a little juice left in that container, left to just be feeling so good about the program and coming up with 9 wins a season. The recruiting is getting overwhelmingly great because we pulling off all these recruits and they love Marcus Freeman. He's like Obama / Will Smith. They got the program fresh and young. But you rip off them 9-10 wins, it's going to get old real quick.
Real quick.
So these next 2 to 3 years is very important for not just Marcus Freeman, but for Notre Dame. Crossing over into a new TV deal, a new apparel. Nobody's gonna wear their apparel if you an 8-win team. They won't even be good for stocking stuffers.
You know the crazy thing? The Jetsons are Alabama, but George and Jane would definitely send Judy to Notre Dame for school.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That's how crazy it is, right?
That's right.
Like Judy, she seems like the daughter of like high tech, intergalactic,
next level stuff.
That's the type of daughter that'll be walking in South Bend on a crisp fall day, taking classes.
That's right.
Judy Jackson would definitely be a student at Notre Dame.
She would have came down from the sky. Definitely went to school right in the area of the Flintstones for sure.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's hop into the top 5 transfer quarterbacks and who's going to have the best season left. I'm going to give you the 5 quarterbacks and you tell me who's going to have the better season. EJ Uiagalelei as he goes to Oregon State. Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. Former Virginia quarterback Brennan Armstrong, who's the signal caller at North Carolina State. Former backup at Texas, now starting quarterback at Purdue, Hudson Card, who actually spoke to Notre Dame. And Devin Leary, the former North Carolina State quarterback, who's now the quarterback at Kentucky.
I would say Sam Hartman because he's got to. We're not going to allow him to be just a 9-win quarterback. So through stats and attrition, Sam should be the top 2. Everybody else is predicated off of what Sam does for his team in college football. Hudson Card, I'm not expecting much from Purdue either way it goes. Who else we got on that list?
Devin Leary at Kentucky.
Devin Leary, you went from a North Carolina State to Kentucky. It's a very lateral move.
If he's healthy,
not expecting too much.
If he's healthy, I just don't know if he's surrounded by the skill position players. I like Devin Leary. I think he's a solid college quarterback.
7-8 win quarterback. That's cool.
Yeah, but he's going to the SEC.
You win 7 or maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 games. I wouldn't put all the because it's just you don't have enough around.
Yeah. Brennan Armstrong, once again, can he get back to being the quarterback he was at Virginia at North Carolina State? He's too turnover prone, bro. Just
a middle of the road guy.
He's just an accident waiting to happen.
Middle of the road. Sam Hartman is the only one with the potential to break through the average quarterback cesspool that there is right now, due to the fact that he's going to have a far better roster around him than everybody else. So he might get to highlight more of his skill with better play.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm pulling for DJ more than anybody on this list.
You pulling from an emotional side.
Yes, from an emotional side. I'm pulling for DJ. I really am.
But DJ got to get better too. Now he's at the perfect seat. I think he has the best fit out of all the quarterbacks.
DJ?
When you think of Oregon State, I'm thinking of DJ. Just a personality of offense, the type of offense they are, the type of team they are. He is the great fit for Oregon State offense, for Oregon State team, for Oregon State program. They got technically a 5-star number 1 quarterback in their program. When the last time Oregon State has ever had that? So, fit perspective, DJ damn near should have went there first. And I think he would have had more success there than at Clemson if he started at Oregon State.
He's he's such a solid, it's because of the person he is.
Yeah, he's just solid.
The person, man, he's already graduated. Very intelligent young man.
Like you fit that. That's you.
Man, all academic, all American, just leader, captain of the team. the way he handled everything once he got benched at Clemson was like, yo, just a
Guys are
good
going to want
dude.
to play for a DJ.
Absolutely.
They're like, oh man, we
Absolutely.
got this 5-star, very humble dude that just want to play. Yeah, he may not be the greatest, but hell, it's better than what we ever had. And
I
it's that
agree.
type of galvanizing culture that I think DJ fits in at Oregon State really well. It's sort of like a Michael Penix Jr. Broken down, coming from Indiana, goes to a nice shelter in Washington that's
familiarity with his former OC.
Not expecting much. He just want to play. They know his story. They think he's good. They mixed him with the right talent at the right conference.
Yeah.
Now they on top of the world.
Yeah.
So from a fit perspective, Michael Penix, and I know DJ's fit is going to be great because they're already a top 25 team without DJ. So it's not like DJ's falling out of the spotlight like how, Dante going from Notre Dame to all the way out there in the corner of Oregon at first. It's like, 5 people may watch your show. Watch your game back in Michigan. Not many people going to watch a lot of Oregon State football games if you're not a real college football fan.
Well, I'll catch them like late night if I'm up on Saturday night after we do the post game show or something.
After you had all the excitement for the day, you lay in bed and wind down and watch a 67 to 68 Oregon State and somebody ball game, Cal ball game.
Yo, I mean, Oregon State, man, always finds a way to be a really tough team to play. And Corvallis just seems to be a tough place to play historically for Pac-12 teams, man. So you have to respect the program. But like you said, they have one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the program. No, man. Definitely one of the best leaders and people that you can have.
He's a guy you instantly just want to be around. It's that Samoan culture in him. You just a oos. You just want to just play with them. He's never too up or too down. I think that's just how the Samoan culture is. Them boys is always even killed, man. Great guys to be around. DJ's a good kid. He was a good kid that got caught up not even caught up. He was surrounded by a lot of media fanfare, went to Bosco, number 1 team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of how Nico Imavalita is kind of traveling in that hype situation where it's like, man, this is a him type of position. Either you do or die. No sympathy involved. So if you're not playing great, nobody's going to feel bad for you.
Fouled under Malik doesn't give a darn. Did you see that your boy Joe Milton was at a camp this weekend and threw the ball 82 yards?
Yeah. He can throw it deep now, so but that don't mean too much for me. It will mean a lot to Notre Dame, though.
So once again, Bronte Johnson will be visiting Notre Dame, and here's his film. Indiana kid, loves Notre Dame, has some issues with his grades. He seemed to straighten that out. Happy for him.
That's all I need to hear right there. Has some issues with his grades. I mean, we got some kids in there with some edge.
That's what that means, left.
Yeah, I want a kid that has some trouble in school here and there. Maybe had an in-school suspension 1 or 2 times, Give me something with a kid that's like, you know what, maybe I will break the rules today. Because that's the balance you need on a football team that's worth winning.
You said, maybe I will break the rules.
Yeah, let me not go to class today, see what happens. You need some of that on the football team. Why is LeBron James the most entertaining player in sports? It's something always going on. It's not necessarily bad, but it's newsworthy. It's worthwhile. Notre Dame needs to be newsworthy as a team again. When Michael Floyd was getting arrested and stuff, Notre Dame was vibing as a team. People was tuned in.
I'm sure Mike Floyd doesn't want you reminding people about it.
But people was talking about Notre Dame at the time when Tommy was getting punched in the eye and all that.
At the parties?
At the parties and at the bar, and Jimmy Clausen getting punched up at the bar. That's when Notre Dame was hot. And we was only, 8 wins? We have to win 12 games to be talked about. That's crazy. But when Michael Floyd was getting arrested and Tommy was getting beat up and all of that stuff. We was winning 8 games, but we was one of the most talked about teams. We just need a little bit of edge like that to get that perspective back at Notre Dame. We just not a boarding school, you know. But man, I remember that when all the stuff going, the scandals made better for us. What we do after that academic scandal?
Left, we're supposed to be talking about Bronte Johnson, his size and speed in the recruiting class, and you like the fact that he had issues in the classroom.
That's all I need to hear. That means we taking chances at Notre Dame. Because the guys that we got the 4.0s and stuff. They Matt Salernos, and Salamis and stuff.
Matt Salernos and Salamis, come on.
You get Bronte Johnson, struggled with English, but he's great on the field. That's a good scouting report.
What?
Struggled in math, great on the go route.
I was about to say, why does he have to struggle with English? Yeah, why can't he struggle with like physics or something?
It don't matter. The easier the class, the better the recruit. That's recruiting in 2023. I got a kid on my team right now. Don't got a good grade to save his life.
and he can ball. He can ball.
Got an SC offer. Got a Utah offer. Man, it's special.
Excuse me.
And we're gonna bring them grades up because he knows the significance and value of having good grades now. He got the right attention.
So at some point, kids wake up. Like, yo.
If you put $100,000 in front of kids, they'll get good grades. But that's just like anything. If you're doing it of getting something out of it, there's a reward to things that you go to work for every day, in my opinion. Education should be, in my opinion, education should be something to where somebody is invested on their own time and trying to learn something. When you on a broad mass education thing like schools are, it should be based on a reward system. You know what I mean? That's why parents give kids money for having good grades, even though I don't think that's a good idea, but that happens because it needs to be a reward system when it comes to that. So
any thoughts about the explosiveness of Bronte Johnson?
Man, once you told me his grades, I thought it was the perfect recruit for us at a time like that. Because I know when he's not on the field, he's out there in the gym. That's why his grades aren't good. He in the weight room. He catching passes on the jug machine late night. That's why his grades aren't good. So now we teach the kid balance. That's all we need to do. Notre Dame's great for teaching you balance. So where he's lacking, we're fine. We take a ready-made product. Sometimes we need a non-ready-made product. Something to put on the recruiting brochures. With bad grades, turn him into a 4.0 student. He was already a baller, so we end up getting him out in 3 years because that's what Notre Dame does. That's how we recruit. Hey, I bet you if we get him, he plays in 2 years. How about that?
Yo, hey man, this is one of the best segments we've ever had on this show, bro. This is the best film breakdown. I might put this on the best of on Sunday morning, bro.
I'm telling you, it's the truth.
Absolutely fantastic.
Oh my goodness, it's the truth. Because we would have look at it, just instinctual player.
There we go.
We need that. He plays free. He plays creatively.
There we go.
You know. So I think that this is a great.
And we haven't had one of these quick screen guys on the squad in a long time.
Yeah, because we got overthinkers. We got smart.
Keep trying to put Jaden Thomas in that spot, and it's like that's not him. That's not him.
He too big body for that. You know. We need one of them Kevin Stephersons outside. You know what I mean?
Good call. We got a couple of super chats. Marky Stewart says, I'm dying laughing at Malik right now. Bad at English, good on the field. He's right, though. Let's take some chances.
That's it. Dion doing it. Dion take a single parent D lineman.
Oh, man, that cat Dion is wild. If Fox offers you $100K, would you bolt? I don't know if
what for.
Is that for Malik?
Just giving me bread? Yeah, I'll bolt to the bread.
And Fox gave you 100,000, but you both. Woo, man. And that film breakdown of Bronte Johnson was brought to you by the Lucky Lefty
Yeah, that cares.
podcast.
The kind that cares.
So the guy that cares.
I'll
Oh,
be the
man.
GM of the year. You know, I'll be the GM of the year.
Oh, man. Woo, Left. You made me laugh, bro. And my job as the host is not to laugh.
It's the truth.
Someone asked a pretty interesting question. Do your kids know that you have a Notre Dame podcast?
They will soon enough. You know, right now they on Rachel. They on what's that? What's the one black called? Gracie's Corner.
Gracie's Corner, okay.
We watch the NFL Network and Undisputed every morning. So they watching film. They just don't know it yet.
All right. Great show today, man. Absolutely fantastic show. As we leave out, what are your thoughts about Marcus Freeman being ranked 30th?
Hey, when you're at the bottom, all you can do is look up.
Yep.
And
I think I would have liked for him to be in the 20s, but hey, I get it. He has to prove himself.
He got to prove himself. You know,
Yeah.
I would put him in the top 5 if I was biased. But it's good that he's at 30. Because when he come on the scene, he start being coach of the year. I don't want to hear none of that. Oh, he's done it. No. Keep him at 30. We might even have to do an apparel marketing campaign and just put the number 30 on the shirt.
Yeah.
Your favorite coach is number 30? Question mark. That's the shirt. No, son.
We getting into it right now, John Massey. Last minute super chat. Just got in the last few minutes. What's the latest with Justice Scott? Mark, go watch the first 10 minutes of the show.
He gonna be all right.
Yeah, we talked about Caleb Beasley, Justice Scott, latest news, everything. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. We appreciate you. Oh, K-Mac says he believes the dude was asking if Malik's players watch SD. I mean, they would be watching the show in order to watch me, so I don't know. I mean, I don't what type of tape? Do they have a media tape on me or something, dude? Like scout me out? Compare me to Unc? I mean, oh man, you think Unc got his stuff back, dude? Did he get his stuff back?
No.
You know what time it is.
Rob. Petticoat. Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petty Junction, pettiest stories of the day, brought to you by Onora Whiskey and NoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. I actually like this prime time vibe, bro.
It's smooth.
It's smooth.
It's
We might
like
have to mix it up.
Quiet Storm, you know, the 92.1 Quiet Storm.
Yeah, we might have to mix it up in the month of June. Do a couple of more prime time shows. I like the vibe. Bro, let me tell you something. That performance by the Celtics last night, after getting to a game 7, and Charles Barkley has to go on the petty train as well. He's constantly allowing Kenny and Shaq to get him to say the most pause-worthy things on live TV.
Oh, and Shaq doesn't even hold it back anymore. He just like, what? He made him do what?
He just keeps saying it, bro.
And I
He
think
keeps
Charles knows that
saying it.
again. He keeps saying it. So, and they don't stop him either. They lucky that Cameron and Mace ain't on. And if Cameron and Mace got on, they wouldn't be able to finish the show.
I think one time that dude Charles was like, "Yeah, boy, I like to sit on that thing."
He said, "I like to sit on that big green monster."
That big green monster.
Yeah,
dude, and Chuck just keeps going. I'm like, Chuck, come on,
chill.
man.
Chill. That's what makes the show great. The finals, they're tripping. Marketing, NBA business. You need to put TNT as host of the finals. Get that crew on. You know, I don't want to see Stephen A for the finals. I like Stephen A in the morning.
Let me tell you who. Explain this to me, bro. Let's talk fandom. Can we talk fandom? Because a lot of people might end up on a petty train. I was watching Game 6 on Saturday, and I'm looking courtside, and I see Diddy and Carisha. Now, Carisha is from Miami, right?
Okay.
Is she? I'm asking. Is she originally from Miami?
Probably.
Young Miami?
Probably.
I'm assuming she is. Diddy, you're supposed to be a New York Knicks fan, bro. You're not from Miami, bro. Like, stop. Stop trying to act like you're the biggest Miami Heat fan. Stop, man.
Listen,
Stop.
you got that much money, you a fan of anything.
Come on, dog. Come on, Left.
That's
like, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Now, this is the true test.
It's a true test.
Are you a Lakers fan or are you a Cleveland Cavaliers fan?
I'll be more Cleveland than I am a Lakers fan. I don't really
You're a Lakers fan because LeBron is there.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. I mean, I don't have no affinity for the Lakers, honestly. I mean, I grew up in Ohio.
Dude, you have so many people in the NBA, dude, that are celebrities now that live in LA and live in these towns, acting like they big time fans of these teams. And they're from like the Midwest somewhere, a totally different city with a different team. It's like, man, get on the petty train. Stop. Look, that's one thing I can say about Kanye. I don't care how big he got, he always came back to the United Center.
Oh,
that dude,
sure.
He never left the Bulls.
Never.
Ever. Now, he needs to leave those sculpted T-shirts alone because he looks like a fool. You can throw him on the petty train for that foolishness.
But the thing is, he's trying to make it so these little stands out here stop copying his swag. Everybody want to dress like him, so he's dressing in the most ridiculous stuff.
Fact,
so
and watch
copying him.
and people, I guarantee you, somehow, some way, people are going to copy it.
Them ugly yoga pant things.
Man.
Oh, those with the biker, with the shirt, with the shoulder pads in it.
Right.
Those.
Right. It's crazy, bro. Crazy. Great show. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. Have a special guest for you. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Hey, have it. Yeah, what's left of it, but make sure that you spend it different. We'll see you guys tomorrow.